So looking at notes 8.3, we have 2 days for this one as well. We're multiplying what we call binomials. And how do I multiply two binomials? Binomial means two terms. Okay, so let's first start with a review. How did we multiply a monomial by a binomial? Meaning we had one term and we multiplied it by what's in parentheses, which is two terms. We use the distributive property. So this is just a review. We would distribute to everything inside the parentheses. So 2 times 3 would be a 6x. And 2 times 4, we bring down our plus sign, would be 8. So that was just a review of what we did in 8.2. In 8.3 now, you can see on example 1, we have two binomials. We're going to go through the same process. We want to make sure that we multiply everything in the first set of parentheses to everything in the second set. So I always start off with that first term, the x, and I want to multiply it to everything inside the second set of parentheses. So x times x would be x squared, and then we need to take my x times my 5, which would be 5x. We're not done though. We now need to make sure that we distribute the 3 to everything. So we would go with 3 times x, which is 3x, and the 3 times the 5, which is 15. So we had two binomials here, multiplying them together. Now we need to check and see, do we have any like terms? And we do. 5x and 3x can be added together and we get 8x. We bring everything else down, so we have x squared plus 8x plus 15. And that's it for that example. So again, we're just really applying the distributive property and multiplying by everything inside the parentheses. On the next one, I'm going to rewrite it because remember, we want to change all subtraction to add the opposite. It's just going to make us more successful in solving these. And here we go. X times everything in the second set of parentheses. X times 4x would be 4x squared. X times that negative 5 is going to be plus a negative 5x. Now we're going to go ahead and look at the negative 3 and multiply it by everything. So I have negative 3 times 4, which is negative 12x, plus the negative 3 times the negative 5, which is a positive 15. And again, we want to look and see if we have any like terms. That means the same letter and same exponent. The negative 5 and the negative 12 are like terms. So our final answer here would be 4x squared plus negative 17. Oops, sorry, let me rewrite that. Plus negative 17x plus 15. Remember, when we're adding, they're like terms, so they have the same letter, and we just leave that letter as x in this example. So we're still multiplying, we're still making sure we multiply everything in one set of parentheses to everything in the other set. Let's look at our last example. You might hear people use the word FOIL. And what they mean here is it's a way to help us remember we need to multiply the first terms together, the outer terms together, the inner terms, and the last terms. And that's what we were actually doing with the distributive property on the last two problems. So as I walk you through this one, again, let's make sure we change all of our subtraction to add a negative. And the first for FOIL means you want to multiply the first terms of both parentheses. So 5x and 2x is going to be 10x squared because we're multiplying. The outer terms mean the furthest from each other, which would be that 5 times the 1. So you can see, or 5x times the 1. So you can see that we are still multiplying that 5x times everything in the other parentheses. Again, it's just kind of like an acronym to help us remember how to multiply these, and so we don't hopefully forget one. The inner would be the innermost, closest to each other from both sets of parentheses, which would be that negative 3 times 2x, which would be negative 6x. And then the last would be the last for each grouping, which would be the negative 3 and the positive 1, which would just be negative 3. And now our final answer here is we have to see if we have any like terms, and we do. So our final answer would just be 10x squared plus a negative 1x, if we add those like terms, plus a negative 3. And again, it's just a way of helping us remember to multiply everything in the first set of parentheses to everything in the last. It's called FOIL. That's all I have for you. We're multiplying two binomials.